People say pornography doesn't hurt anybody. It hurts your marriage, it hurts society, it hurts all sorts of things. And you can pick out what is it alcoholism, is it racism, is it bigotry? I mean, what are the strongholds in your life? I'm just using that one, but what is it for you that you need to go in and really demolish? Is it materialism? Paul goes on and talks about, okay, now you're in demolition, now you're going to rip it apart. We need to put something in there. We need to start building this thing back up. So we're going to go to the book of Romans for a second. And in the book of Romans, it talks a lot about changing us, renovating us, making us more and more like Christ. And here's what he says in chapter 8 of the book of Romans. Starting at verse 5. Those who are dominated by their sinful nature think about sinful things. But those who are controlled by the Holy Spirit think about things that please the Spirit. So letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death. Letting the Spirit control your mind leads to life and peace. For the sinful nature is always hostile to God. It never did obey God's laws, and it never will. That's why those who are still under the control of their sinful nature can never please God. This is really straightforward. It's always hostile. There's always something going on. The enemy is always coming after our mind, and we really have to choose. Which way is our mind going to go? Our mind is being hit by two sides. Are we going to go with the world and the talk and the things of this land? Or are we going to go with the Holy Spirit and the things of God and say, you know what? They don't match up. This Bible and the world, the things of them don't match up. We have to choose a side because our mind is being bombarded every single day, every single hour. We are hearing things, and you have to decide which one is going to dominate your mind. It can't be 50-50. It can't be 60-40. You got to decide which one is going to really take over. Again, psychological warfare. Sight and sound. The enemy is coming after us all the time with sight and sound. Sight and sound. Jesus talked about capturing our hearts. And he taught with visuals, sight and sound. He knew the power of it. We know the power of it. So let's start with sound for a second. Let's just start there for a minute. Day after day, the world screams at us. Day after day, we are getting hit with people telling us things. Yesterday, again, at the U-turn, we had to put these things on. There was so much sound. We were yelling at each other and talking and, we're trying to give instructions for projects and those jackhammers. If these were not on, the guys would still have their ear ringing today. Some of them would still feel their bodies vibrating from the jackhammers, but their ears would still be going. It was so loud for hour after hour. We have to figure out how to filter the stuff of our world. We can't get away from it forever. We have to find out how can we filter and protect what's going in, because there's a stronghold. So we have to say, okay, we're going to limit it, we're going to change it, we're going to do something about it. How can we do this? Words like, if it feels good, go for it. Ideas like, it's your life. Don't let someone else tell you what to do. You've earned the right. Go for it. It's my body. There's all these things that are simply going around and going around. One of the ways that Jesus demonstrated filtering and doing this was that he would escape. Jesus had crowds coming after him. He had people screaming for attention. Jesus, heal me, teach me, do this, do that. And early in the morning, off he would go off, or sometime else he would just go off to a place of solitude. He would unplug. And he would just go be alone. And that's how he allowed the Spirit to refresh him. To be able to hear God's voice and to know, okay, I'm focused again. There's all this stuff going on. I just have to filter it out. Solitude is a powerful, powerful thing for us. It helps. Yesterday when we got done, it was amazing. We're all yelling, talking so loud. When it got quiet, it was almost deafening. It was almost too quiet. We're like, wow, you get accustomed to the sound. And when the room got quiet, we're still yelling and talking loud. It's like, wow, we don't have to do that anymore. And it was kind of awkward sometimes even. Maybe you're not able to find a place to solitude. Maybe you don't know where to go. Maybe you have no place to unplug. So instead, get an iPod, get some earplugs, get something you can plug in some other sound. Wire yourself to have positive sound put in instead of negative sound put in. Get an audio book. Get some Christian music. Download podcasts from different pastors from around the world. I don't care. But instead of listening to what the world says, break up that stronghold. Smash the stronghold by putting good sound, good input. We have more audio stuff than ever before in the history of the world. You can go to iTunes and download stuff to your heart's content. Sound is a powerful weapon in changing our minds and changing our hearts. But we have to be intentional about what we're listening to. If secular radio and talk radio isn't doing it for you, and if it's affecting your life, get rid of it. Find a way to transform it. Sight is the other really, really big one. We are wired for visual, or at least I am wired for visual. Most guys were probably very wired for visual. Many of us are. And, you know, in the military again, talking about the way that they would do psychological warfare. Quite often, they would make false newspapers. They would create flyers. Look at the Gulf War 1 and 2. Look at World War 1 and 2. They would create pamphlets, and they were talking about, you know, a ceasefire. They were talking about, you know, you're losing. That, you know, you can drop your weapons and you can be free. And they would drop pamphlets, brochures, and materials. They would do TV broadcasts, and people would see that the enemy was free and doing better over here than they were over there. And people literally stopped and gave up in the middle of the war. The war was still going, but they bought into the lie that was visually presented to them. A powerful tool. The FBI has used this for years and years. If there's a hostage situation, middle of the night, they turn on powerful lights. They light the house up. They light up the office building. They don't let you sleep. They crank up the sound. They don't let you think. And they change, and the hostages get released, and people get released, and it confuses the situation. We are visual people. Men, how many of us are honestly talking to our wife, talking to our girlfriend, having a great conversation, and that other really hot, attractive lady walks by? You know what I'm talking about. You're trying to have a conversation with the one you love. Your body is still there, but your head's going like this. We are visually driven. Our mind is saying, wow, yeah, if only. That's how we are. We can be honest about it. Ladies, how many of you have a visual issue with shoes? What is it, ladies, that you can have a closet full of shoes, but you go to the store and that shoe is talking to you? You don't need me. I look nice on you. You don't have that same shape. And miraculously you buy it and you bring it home. How many pairs of shoes can you really wear, ladies, at one time, in a week? We are visual driven, aren't we? Because as silly as that sounds, that's materialism screaming to us. We need it. We want it. We deserve it. We've earned it. The bank account ledger, the finances, you know, given to ministries, supporting Haiti, all those different things. That's really not important. But my shoes, we're buying in, and the enemy's doing it, and it changes us. The visuals and sound things are really, really, really powerful stuff.